come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por
We
favor,
invite you with
manténganse
your
alejados de
dares
las
to
puertas.
visit tonight's episode in Vista. In this elevated travel, doorless chambers.
Hello and welcome to Miles from Main Street, your Far From Disney podcast. My name is Mikhailo.
And I'm Brian.
And we're here to talk about Disney World,
But especially coping away from Disney.
which we know a lot about being from the Midwest. Here at Miles from Main Street, our preferred travel agency is Magical Vacations by Kimberly. Kimberly is a Disney expert and can handle all of your Disney planning needs. She can also plan Universal and all major cruise lines. Contact Kimberly at magicalvacationsbykimberly@yahoo.com.
And find her on Facebook and Instagram under Magical Vacations by Kimberly.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we have Heather with Vacation Exploration with us. Hey, Heather, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks so much for joining us, Heather.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
So you guys, as you know, listening, we're always missing Disney. And part of my journey with missing Disney is that I'm always looking for content to watch, listen to, and I've picked up on live streams a lot lately. And over the last couple of months, I've been watching Vacation Exploration and Heather as she's going around the parks. And she does an amazing job walking around, talking to everybody in her live chat, and just showing us all these great places in the park and getting us on the rides. Just being able to ride rides during the day. So that's great. She's also got some other content that she does. She does shorts, so you can just see little clips from the parks whenever you want on demand. She has live chats at night. You did one tonight, right? About Cruella.
That's correct.
Just did
We did a live chat about the new movie at Cruella, which we just talked about the movie and all that. It was fun.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So Heather, why don't you give us a little bit of background? I know I just kind of did that.
About my background? Sure. So my name is Heather. I have my YouTube channel. I've started my YouTube channel in it was winter of 2019. It was February. I decided to just go forward with it. I actually had a friend of mine encourage me to start a YouTube channel, because I originally wasn't a YouTuber. I was actually on Instagram, and I had about 2,000 followers before I decided to go onto YouTube. So I started making vlogs in February 2019. And then I saw streamers. I didn't realize live streaming was a thing until then. I was like, oh, how neat is that people could go around the parks and bring people along. I didn't know it was like a thing. And I never thought I could do it originally. I'm like, there's no way I can go on a camera and talk for like 6 hours straight. I'm like, there's no way I could physically do it, or that I'm capable of doing it and have people be interested and want to come with me on these like adventures. It was insane. So then I finally got the courage in May of 2019. That's when I finally was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this live stream thing. I was like, I saw other people do it, and it just looked fun to me. And I'm like, let me just try it. Let me just go ahead and do that. So I did my first stream. I think it was May 9th of May 8th, 2018. I did my first stream. It was at Epcot. It was like an hour, and I had just such a blast. I just feel like I really hit it off really well. And then I've been live streaming since. It wasn't as active. I got more active into it in January 2020 is when I really started to up my game. That's when I was really trying to push for my channel to get monetized and just to work really hard and be a content creator. And then that's basically since then I've just been doing lots of streams. And then I hit 1K in March of 2020, right when Disney shut down. That's when I hit my 1K, and I was like, oh no, this is the worst time to hit 1K. But I've just rolled with it, and we went through the pandemic, and then and then when everything went back to opening, I waited like a few weeks and I jumped right and went back to the parks. And yeah, I just been going full force since that.
Cool. Yeah. Our background, we'll just kind of explain to you how this got started. So we're Miles from Main Street, and it's kind of in the name. We're both from Wisconsin, and we're just really far away from the magic. And so this was kind of that same thing where COVID hit, and Brian and I knew each other. We're actually cousins. And we both knew that we had a love for Disney. And we met at just like a family gathering at one point, and then just started talking to each other about Disney, and we just realized we're just giant Disney nerds. And so we needed people to talk to over COVID, and so we made a Zoom chat and started talking, and it took one Zoom chat, and we decided, hey, we should start a podcast.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what we've been doing that ever since, and it's still rather new, and we're still getting good at it. But it's been a lot of fun. So.
Oh, that's so neat. That is so neat.
So what, I know you said you were Instagram and saw the live streaming. I guess I'm kind of curious how the behind the scenes type of stuff kind of works with your channel. The other day we were watching, and forgive me, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Megan that joined you in the park, and you're like, oh yeah, now you get to see all the people looking at me weird and this stuff behind the camera. And so, kind of give us an insight to some of that.
Yeah. So basically what you see for beyond the gimbal is basically, I guess technically what it would be too is it's like a little chat that I look at through the YouTube end where messages will hop in and I'll read them and answer questions. And sometimes YouTube will give you a warning if I'm going into a lag spot. YouTube sometimes gives me a warning. It kind of depends, like if you're about to go in a lag, and that's why I'm always like, okay guys, we're about to go in a lag, hang tight, don't panic.
Okay.
And then just holding the gimbal, and because that's what it is behind it, it's a gimbal. I don't know if you've probably seen a gimbal before. It's like this, it's not a selfie stick, but it's like a sticky kind of thing that you put that holds the phone and keeps it so the phone isn't all shaky and you're like on Blair Witch Project or something like that. So and yeah, I've had, it's interesting when walking around with it, trying to dodge people if like people are walking towards you, because sometimes I'll be so focused at the chat and they'll look up and be like, oh no, like I'm 2 inches away from walking into something. And another behind the scenes is sometimes people give me really weird looks, or sometimes you'll hear them talking to themselves like, is that person a YouTuber? And like stuff like that. And you just gotta roll with it, and you just kind of have to ignore them. Like anybody that like gives you like a rude look, you just kind of have to ignore it and just continue what you're doing and know that what you're doing is great. And if they don't like it, it's not your problem,
For sure. Yeah. We so with our Facebook and our podcast, Brian and I fairly recently went to Disney. I went in February, and Brian, when did you go? You went like last month, right?
That was the end of March. I was there.
Okay, yeah. But I kind of tried that same thing, and it was through Facebook, and so we went live on Facebook. I didn't have a gimbal or anything. I was just straight arming it, and so it was fun, and we didn't really. I mean, I think we had 12 people at most that jumped
nice.
on.
That's nice. That's better than my first stream.
But it was fun, and it definitely seemed like something I could do, and it was cool. I think we went on 2 rides,
nice.
And we got hot dogs, and it was fun, and it seemed like it was really cool to do that for an hour. My question is, does it ever start to feel like work? Does it ever feel like, oh, I have to stream today, I really don't feel like going to Disney? Does it ever get that way?
No, I'm usually really excited to go out on streams. The only times I'm not is if I guess if I have like a pain in my foot, or if I have like I guess you could say not like an injury, but like I'm at the park so much where it's like I get like, if you're like walking so much, like you get like cramps in your foot, and it's like, oh, I got to stream today, and my my ankle's hurting or something like that. But like, honestly, I just love it so much. Like, I felt like this is what I was meant to do with my life, was to be like a streamer. And it doesn't really feel like work. No, it really does not.
That's awesome to hear that. And I think that really comes through in the energy when you're on it. It's infectious. It makes me want to keep watching all day long.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I really enjoy how you converse with the fans and the people in the live chat. Like, I've watched people, other channels as I was trying to settle in with somebody, and some of them just don't seem to care. They don't, like, I know you're always like, let me catch up on chat, and you're going back and you're looking to make sure you've caught everything, where some of these other people won't do that. And so those are some of the things that really make it interesting to watch. So I don't know how that works out for you when you're going. Like, is it something you consciously have to stop and be like, okay, I got to look at the chat? Or
yeah, it's a big thing for me to keep up with my chat, because to me, it's when people are in my chat, it means the universe to me. And it's actually an honor for me to have people in my chat. Like, people are taking the time out in their day to come into my live stream. So I want to make sure I read whatever's in the chat, whatever person types something or says something. Like, I want it to be, I can hear them, and I want to be that I hear their voice. And that's a huge thing for me with my channels. I want everybody to feel included. And that's why I'm always like, let me catch up on the chat, see what they're saying. And honestly, yeah, it's just a really big honor just to have like people come into my chat. It just means so much.
Yeah, it's and one of the cool things I get with live streams and stuff like this is it kind of feels like you're going to the park with friends, only you're not there. And I've gotten that with when I first started really getting into it, people like Tim Tracker and people like that. I loved watching their videos, because that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like you were going to the park with friends. And now that people are starting to do more live streams, that's literally that, like, that's, you're there live, and you're able to talk to all of these other people who are like-minded people just like us. And so I've always thought that was really great.
I have to agree. Absolutely.
I don't know. I just always am impressed by the ability to walk around and take on those weird looks. And because when I was down there, I had plans to go live like all the time. And I didn't. We got on the Skyliner, and I went live at that point when I was kind of by myself. And then I didn't after that. Like, talking kind of got comfortable right away. But I don't know. I like, even just like, so we were at Art of Animation, and I got on the bridge, started the live at that point, and started walking. And I even then, like, are people looking at me? So, so I'm always impressed by that. So what are some of the rides you enjoy getting on with the live stream?
I love like doing things like, one of my favorites is like, Jungle Cruise, like the boat rides, like the ones that have like the interactive experience. I also love the thrill rides, like Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Mine Train, Space Mountain. I love streaming those because it's like it's cool because it's like you're videotaping like a roller coaster with all these people watching you live, and it's just a neat experience to bring. And another thing with Disney, and I didn't realize this, a lot of theme parks around the country are very strict about, like, because I have other live streamer friends that stream around the country, they're very strict about like going streaming on rides. And it's like, it's really nice that Disney does let us go live on rides.
Did that have part of the decision to do your work in Disney, or was that just?
No, I always just really loved Disney, and I live 40 minutes from the park, so that's what made me want to go live at Disney. I definitely want to take my channel on the road to other places. That's definitely not going to hold me back. Like I would like go live at like another theme park, like if I was like on vacation or something like that. And if they just said, oh, you can't stream on the rides, then yeah, then we just won't go on the rides and we'll just walk around.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you work on finding that out before you would get there then?
Yeah, basically, like I think what I would do, I haven't looked into it yet, but like I would really like to go to like Dollywood or something. I don't know what exactly the procedures are. That's probably would be like my first option, like outside of our Florida parks. Basically, I probably would just email them and be like, hey, is it okay if I could go live here? What are your procedures? And all that. I know with the Six Flags, I have a friend that streams at Six Flags, in Great Adventure up in New Jersey. And I know they don't allow like any kind of videotaping on the rides. I don't know if they do. I'll have to double check. I don't know if it is with like a GoPro, if they have any policies with a GoPro, because like some their policies, like I know like SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, if you have a 3-point harness and a GoPro, you could videotape, but obviously with a cell phone, you can't just hold it up and hold like a tripod or a gimbal. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Cool. Yeah. So with all of this, all of the social media and the streaming and everything, is that your like main thing? Like, have you kind of dropped everything to start this?
So I mean, with my personal, like my job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've put a lot of work into my channel. I've actually kind of have scaled back. I do work from home. I have a very flexible job. I work for actually a donations company. And I've actually now, knock on wood, have scaled back some hours of my job. I haven't worked it as much. And I've been doing more with YouTube, which has been really exciting to see that go up with like my monetization. And yeah, it's been really fantastic.
So do you have a favorite park to walk through and live stream at?
Oh, absolutely. Magic Kingdom is my favorite because I just feel like I just love magic. Like that is just the soul of Disney. Walking in, seeing the castle. I feel like there's so much to do too. Like I can never get bored of magic. Where I feel like, for an example, Hollywood Studios is probably the hardest part with finding things to do because there's not a lot of rides and there's not even a lot of shows at the moment. Like we don't even have Beauty and the Beast, Indiana Jones. We don't have those shows. So it's kind of like after a few hours, I'm kind of like, okay, what do I do now? Because I like going for 6 hours. So I'm like, what do we do now? Okay, let's go rewrite Slinky or something. So I always found like magic is just my favorite because there's like so much to do. And it's my favorite park too. Like Magic Kingdom in general is it's just always just to spend like my favorite park since I was a kid and all that. So I love it.
Yeah, I feel like Magic Kingdom, it's almost like streamer friendly where it's just there's so many cool points. The architecture is really great, so it's just fun to walk through. And I honestly would agree with you with I feel like Hollywood Studios has some of my favorite rides, but just like how the park layout and everything, and it sometimes it can just kind of feel sterile when you walk through it. And I mean, it's supposed to feel like Hollywood, so it makes sense. Theming's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get that. And honestly, I feel like most of the time when I'm looking through streams, like people that are live at the moment, a lot of the times they're at Magic Kingdom. So
they're at Magic Kingdom, absolutely.
You have spent a lot of time in Epcot that I've been watching anyway. And I think you do a really good job of showing things around there though. So don't be afraid.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, I love Epcot too. And I love going because Epcot's my second favorite park. And I love going into all the other countries. And I'm also a really big fan of history and geography. So I love seeing all these different things about the countries. And it's so fun because like the gift shops have all these different things that are sold in those countries. Like it was really neat because like, for example, like the one in Germany, they have these little weird, they look like Legos, but they're not Legos, but they're like really big over there. And I learned that, oh, that's a really big thing that kids play with over there, really big toys. And then like the Japan shop, I can be in there for hours, just seeing all the different things. It's really neat.
I'm gonna start telling you to go into some of the museums they have in there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, sometimes the signal doesn't hold, like the China, the one in China, it has like the Shanghai. I love that museum because it's all the fun facts about Shanghai Disneyland. But I lag sometimes in the room. I'll have to try it again now that I'm streaming on YouTube Native. But I'll go into a lag and I'm like, no, I want to show everything, all these neat items. But absolutely, like if you have any suggestions, like, oh, do this ride or that ride, I'm always open to suggestions and try to do it if like my signal holds. It all depends on signal and like if I'm allowed to. Like, and that's another thing that I'm always really bummed about is Epcot. I can't do the 3 main shows. I can't do the Canada show. I can't do Awesome Planet, and I can't do the Beauty and the Beast sing along thing. You're not allowed to videotape. And I'm always like, that bummed me out when I found that out. I was like, oh, this would be so cool to show the stream.
Yeah, I would like to see the new Beauty and the Beast show. I haven't been able to see it. So that's too bad.
I haven't been able to see it either because every time I'm at Epcot, I'm streaming or I'm with people that have done it and they're like, nah, we don't have to do it at the moment. And I'm like, I never saw it. I never seen it. So I need to make a point to see it. And another thing too, I got to make a point to see Canada Far and Wide because that pavilion's closing in late June. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see it. I don't know what they're doing exactly, but they're closing it. So I'm like, I need to take an Epcot day to like, maybe like not, or do it after a stream just to see it.
Give us some vlogs on the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll have to do that.
I don't know why, but I love the Canada Pavilion.
I love the Canada Pavilion too. With the waterfalls, there's a lot of little hidden areas back there with the waterfalls, and it's definitely in like my top. It might be in like my top 3 favorite Epcot pavilions. They've did such a great job on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just walking back in those waterfalls,
they're just gorgeous, and they make you forget you're in a theme park.
You really do. Yeah. But you did bring up a point that, you ask people where you want to go, where should we go next? And you listen to them, nobody does that. It's okay. We're going to go here next, and so it's great that you're listening to people and it's very interactive.
Yeah. And that's a big thing for me is like, why would I videotape something if like people don't want to see it? Like for an example, if there's like a particular show that's on, or like you go by and like the mariachi band, the mariachi band's good at Epcot, but sometimes people might not like, I don't know, for whatever reason, they might not like it, and you'll see your numbers just drop. And that's why I always ask, oh, do you guys want to watch this show? Or like the Wizards of Liberty, do you guys want to watch it? Or do you guys want to skip it? It all depends on the mood of the chat. Sometimes the mood of the chat will be like, yeah, let's watch Voices of Liberty. Or then you'll be like, people, nah, let's just continue around. And, that's my main thing. It's like, I want it to be, people can watch and they don't get bored. So I'm always like, want to make sure, everybody is, I like getting input because I don't want it to be that people are like, they don't want to watch it,
Cool. So here's a hard hitting question. How did you actually get into, how did you find your fandom in Disney?
My fandom in Disney. And so basically I grew up going to Disney. My mom's first time was in 1992 on her honeymoon. And then my dad's been going since like 1971. He went like he's a Disney kid from the start. So my parents have taken me since I was a baby. My first time I went was I think I was 14 months. So I was really, really young. They just took us and I just loved it right from the start. Over the years, I loved it. It's became a #1 vacation spot for me when I was a kid. And then we ended up moving here when I was 11.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. So you weren't always near the park. You were.
No, I grew up. I was born in New Jersey. And so what happened is that my dad had a business actually. And it's really hard to have a business in New Jersey. It just was really, really hard. And so New Jersey itself is really expensive to live there. So my parents wanted to move somewhere that was cheaper and warmer. So we're like, you know what? We love Disney so much. Let's move to Florida. So that's what we did. We moved to Florida. I feel like it's funny. even if even how I'm from New Jersey, I feel like I'm more of a Floridian because I've lived here more than half my life. So yeah, we moved to Florida, and I'm so glad. At the time, like, it was hard, leaving your family up north. I'm just so glad that they did move us to Florida, because I would not want to live any place else in the universe.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
I was about to say I don't blame you, because I feel the same way.
So you started on Instagram and you were doing some work on there. Are you still putting a lot onto Instagram?
I do put a lot of work on the Instagram. I'll do a lot like photos. I'll do reels. The reason why I don't do as much on Instagram is I've been focusing a lot on my channel.
Okay. So, but if anyone wants to get a hold of you, you'd prefer through your channel or your page on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, any way you can message me. Yeah, that's where you can get a hold of me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very cool. I've perused that Instagram before, and probably my favorite thing is when you end up dancing around the park. I think that's cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love those videos. They're so fun. But the issue is, like, I don't do them as much because usually, like, I'll get done streaming and I'm tired. Or my mother, she's usually the one that's behind the camera. That's the one she'll be the one actually filming it. And there'll be days she'll just, she'll be tired because she's busy with her life too and all that. And I don't want to have to drag her out if she's, if she's doing stuff.
So then, do you guys all have annual passes?
Yes, we all do. Well, I have an annual pass. My dad, he just upgraded to a gold from an Epcot after 4, so I'm really happy for him. My mom has an annual pass, and then my Uncle Ben, he lives with us. I don't know if you guys know, if you guys have been around that long. I have my Uncle Ben. He lives with us. He has autism, and he has an annual pass too. And then my twin brother had one, but he's waiting until the reservation system is gone to see about getting a new one. I know now there's no more annual passes at the moment, but he's just wanting to take that risk, I guess, with that. And then my older brother, he wants one so badly. However, they're not selling them, so he's just kind of waiting. And as soon as they'll go on sale, he's gonna get one.
Yeah, that's the life right there. I've always thought when I was first applying to colleges, UCF was one of the options. And I even went down and auditioned and everything. And I always thought that, like, if I lived in that area, or if, like, I was going to school, I would just, like, spend all my time at the, like, I would even go into the parks and to just, like, chill and, like, hang out.
Yeah. Well, that's a very normal Floridian thing to do. Is people will go there, they'll go on like a ride or two, get some dinner, grab a drink, get a snack, and then they'll go. That's very normal Orlando culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you had mentioned the park reservations, and I think Chapek may have said something about it, that they're going to stay. But regardless of that, how has that been affecting your channel and what you're doing?
It has affected my channel, because what I'll do a lot of times is because there's been only a couple times where I've had to change my plans because I couldn't get the park I wanted. But usually what I have to do is I have to stalk the app and keep refreshing until I get the park I want. So yeah, it's affected me a lot. And I'm not a fan of the reservation system. I really would love if they went back to normal, where I could just show up whenever I want. And with park hopping, it's a bummer that I can't park hop till 2, because a lot of times I do a lot of early streams, and a lot of times I won't be able to park hop, because by the time I park hop, my stream will be like over. So I just really hope they changed their mind, because yeah.
Yeah, and being that I only get there once every year or two, the reservation system doesn't affect me that much, because I'm pretty much planning my parks for the fast passes anyway.
Right.
So I'm gonna and any dinner reservations I might want. So that doesn't affect me that much. And I know that I've heard that Disney's gonna like the information they're getting from those things way too much, from their park reservations. So I'm worried because I know there's so many people like you that they don't want these things around. So
I just want to be able to show up when I want to show up in whatever park I want to show up, and I want things to go back to normal.
And that's the beauty of an annual pass, is being able to just pop in when you want, right?
Exactly.
Like that is jump in and grab a ride and grab a dinner and
it's a very normal thing for for us people in Orlando, just to go for a few hours and do that.
So that's a cool kind of like damn it. So that's a cool contrast between the things that Brian and I do being miles from Main Street and what you're able to do is being right there. I know for me, and I know Brian's this way too, we're just giant planners. We will just plan it. I mean, there was at one point, this was like 3 vacations ago, that I had everything on a Google Calendar, and like literally like each hour was planned based on the fast passes that we had and the dinner reservations that we had. And honestly, I get this a lot. I mean, obviously being Disney nerds, we get the question a lot, like, oh, like what's the best way to do it and everything like that. And I've taken several groups of family out there, and they always say like, oh, it's like having like a tour guide, but it's like, it's because we do that. And it's like, and Disney's kind of making it so that you have to do it with the Genie app and stuff like that. Now it's kind of like, that's making it a little easier, even though that's kind of what I do already. But it's, and even with the park reservations and everything like that, it's even like down to that, like it's getting pretty nuts with all of that. But I mean, and at the same time, like I'm not complaining too much, because like a lot of this stuff, like this is how I plan. Like I was never a big park hopper. However, I did park hop my last vacation, and it went really well, and I really liked it. And I think I might do more of that in the past, but I had already always been like a park a day type person. So yeah, it's a cool little contrast between like what you're able to do. It's just like, and I feel like if I lived in Orlando, I'd feel the exact same way, where it's like, just let me go to Disney when I want, because that's what I want.
Because it's hard, it's like, and then sometimes like even whatchamacallit, sometimes like with the parks, because I've had a couple of situations where I really wanted to go to Magic, and I would almost have to do like a park hopping stream to go to Magic. You'll notice sometimes I'll have like a weird Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom park hop, because I couldn't get a res anywhere else. I stalked the app, and even like the one day, like everything was sold. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna keep pressing buttons until we get a park, and that's the park I'll be streaming at. And I think that's what happened that one day. I would do like that kind of park hopping thing.
That's usually me trying to get reservations. It's just like tap the phone and update as many times as possible until it pops up.
It's the same thing with everything. Resort, restaurants, just keep swiping that app. And if you keep doing it, you're eventually going to get exactly what you want.
That's how we got Oga's, but we've had that episode, right?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, because Oga's is like, because it's very tight fitted there. I haven't been in there since the pandemic, and it's small in there, so I'm sure it's very, very limited to get a reservation for Oga's. So
basically, the tables they have is what they're filling right now. They aren't. Yeah. There's no standing room or anything. So
you know what's so funny? It used to be with Oga's. This is before the pandemic. You would be at a table. There would be like four. There was like 4 of us, like in my group, and there'd be 4 of us, and then they'll be like, "Okay, we're squeezing a party of 6 onto your tiny little table with you."
Oh wow!
And it's so funny, and you're all just all crowded around your drinks, and it's so funny. Now it's like the opposite, where it's like, if there's more than 4 people per table, they have to split up into a table, and it's so different now. Since then, everything's so spaced out.
Which I'm kind of getting used to.
I like that personally. That's one thing I'm not complaining about. I love having my own space from people. Like with Volcano Bay, they used to social distance the lounge chair, so it was nice because then like your person next to you would be like 6 feet away from you. And then I went a couple weeks ago and all the chairs were lined up like right next to each other. It's like, okay, now I have to sit by some random stranger. So yeah, I like the space.
You threw me with Volcano Bay.
I'm sorry. No,
I know. No, yeah.
Universal into a Disney podcast.
How dare
fine.
you?
We've talked about these other places before, and I mean I enjoy them too. I think Brian likes them less than I do.
I haven't been there since I was in high school, which was moons and moons ago. So
yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I know some people are just Disney people and they just stay in their Disney bubble. And I know some people do both. I guess it just depends on, it just depends on you.
Okay, so now I have two, and they're in my head, and hopefully I won't forget them.
Okay.
So being in Florida and with all these other theme parks around, is that something that you see yourself doing? I know there's I watch a couple vloggers and some live streamers that actually kind of go all over the place, kind of like more like Central Florida type stuff. Do you see that becoming a thing?
Absolutely. I definitely want to expand my channel to just outside of Orlando too. I definitely would love to go to like the beach and maybe check out some more theme parks and all that. I'm excited because summer, I really want this to be the best summer like in the universe. So I'm hopefully going to be going away in the near future, and I'll be able to produce some vlogs for everybody. I'm still have to figure out where exactly I want to go. It's going to be somewhere in Florida because it's, I don't really think I want to go out of state because it's just easier just to do Florida stuff. So hopefully in the near future, I'll have a trip announcement and I'll have to tell everybody about that.
Right here on Miles
great.
from Main Street. You heard it first, people.
Yeah. We almost got the exclusive.
Right?
Almost got it. Yeah, I still got to figure out. There's a few places I want to go, and I'm very fortunate because my older he's a teacher and he's off for the summer. So I'm like, Dan, if you want to come with me, like I'm paying. I'll pay for the hotel. You just gotta show up. So that way I don't have to go to these places alone. And Dan, my older brother, he's one of my biggest fans, one of my biggest supporters. So I'm super excited for him to be more on the channel because he'll have the time to because he's not working. So yeah.
So that's funny. I have my sister, my brother and my sister, we're all into Disney, and they're the ones I went to Disney with, and we actually feature my sister every so often on this channel as well because she's not working because she's in the Broadway musical Frozen. So
no way.
they haven't been doing anything lately. So but they're coming back, I think, around in a couple months.
Yeah, I think September they're bringing back musicals.
Okay, yeah.
I think
that's what I heard. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say it though because I wasn't sure if it was.
I just read it online.
Was, okay, yeah,
it was online, so it's out there. You're not breaking the rules.
Yeah. But anyways, something else that I kind of thought about was, do you do any like staycations, anything like that, where you end up?
I would love to do more staycations. It's just one of those things, like it's, it costs money. Disney is not cheap. Mm-hmm. And like, I live so close to the park. So it's just a lot of like, just quick 1-day trips, go back home. I would love to do more staycations. It's just right now, like, it's not cheap. Like I think the cheapest hotel at Disney is like over, I think for like pass holders, it could be like a minimum of like, I think like 120. It depends. Mm-hmm. It depends on time of year, but I've seen them as low as like they're usually over 100 a night, like low 120 at the bare minimum I've seen. And it's like it adds up. So mm-hmm. I hope in the near future I can do a stay. I would love to do a staycation like Animal Kingdom Lodge or like some like a really nice like Caribbean beach. So yeah, hopefully in future.
I have a fun story about my experience at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I never
Ooh.
actually stayed there, but I almost did. So if you want to
Oh,
hear that story,
I would love to hear
go
that
back into the
story.
backlog of Miles from Main Street.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's funny on this channel we end up telling a lot of the same stories. But that's kind of, I mean, I feel like I do that.
Nice.
I feel like I do that with other like-minded Disney people anyways. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what this is for, is to kind of sit down and tell our stories and talk about the things that we want to talk about, which is always fun for us. So, but this has been a lot of fun. Thank you, Heather, for coming on and talking Disney with us and kind of giving us an insight into what you do, because it's very interesting. And honestly, it's something that I'd love to do. I'd love to get myself out to Orlando and do something like this. And I think it's amazing that you're actually going out there and you're doing what you want to do. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. I've actually never been on a podcast, so I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be on a podcast.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Guys, go check out Vacation Exploration on YouTube. And then come join us on our Facebook community, the Miles from Main Street community, and let us know what you think. I'm going to share her streams out on our page for you, so you can find it easier. And you can see why we're so excited to have talked with you, Heather, and to watch you every 3 to 4 days a week. And so, yeah, thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Great. And we hope you guys all enjoyed this, and we will see you next time on Miles from Main Street. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please rate us on iTunes and subscribe. Email us at milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts, and visit us on Facebook under Miles from Main Street. We'll be bringing more to you weekly and look forward to talking to you then.
Until next week, remember,
Some live close,
but most of us don't.
so let's talk about it.